Yo, what's good, YouTube? ZAMCRO here, aka Scoot, back with some more Draft League content. We have the Draft Premier League. So, it's new to me, new to my subscribers, in terms of me providing the content. But yeah, we signed up for Draft Premier League, and I guess that put us in a pool of players, and we were drafted by the High Jump Kicks, who is coached by or captained by Thick Bunny, and then the team captain, or excuse me, the co-captain, excuse me, was I think Jay Carson. Don't quote me on that. It's bad that I don't know my own roster's team captains. I believe it was Jay Carson and Thick Bunny though. We got this sick logo, as you see in the right-hand corner at the bottom, the High Jump Kicks. Very cool, very memey. I like it a lot. And at the top right-hand corner, you see the Season 2 DPL logo. I think that's subject to change. I think it may be Feralthorn now. But this is like the main logo, the Discord logo, whatever. So, what is the Draft Premier League? It's going into Season 2. It's basically the equivalent of the Smogon Premier League, where, captain, co-captain, a team drafts their actual players, and they have, said teams, and use said teams and said players each week in a competition over however many weeks. For this, it will be 7 weeks, I believe, which is pretty cool, pretty short, and we won't be playing every week. We may play every week, we may not, and we're going to be covering, as you can see on screen, I guess we can cover the general rules by just looking on screen. Basically, this tournament consists of 10 teams. 10 teams will be drafted in an auction by team captains and co-captains. Team captains get a budget of $120K for the player auction. Minimum price for a player is $5K. Captains can bid in minimal 500 increments. Captains will nominate players in snake form. Any captain may bid on a player. Each team will have between 7 and 9 players, plus their captain and co-captain. Every team drafts 5 Sun and Moon drafts and 4 Oris drafts with a 90-point limit per draft, 8 Pokemon per draft, and Sun and Moon drafts may have 2 Z-eligible Pokemon. So that there alone is fantastic. Bringing some Oris in here, which is awesome. Each week there will be 4 Sun and Moon matches and 3 Oris draft games. Captains submit rosters with 7 players and 7 drafts each week. Captain or co-captain may play in any given week, but both may play in playoffs. Top 4 teams go to playoffs, 8v8, with higher seeds using an additional Sun or Oris game, which is awesome. It's just awesome playoffs, and tiebreakers are best of 3. 1 Sun and Moon plus 1 choice of Sun and Moon or Oris from both opposing team captains. Each team will be given 2 extensions they may use throughout the season, if you have any scheduling conflicts or anything like that. And there are rules for players missing scheduled times. First time you'll get a warning. Second time you can't play the following week, and third time you just lose your game. Period. And alternate accounts are not allowed, so you have to use the Showdown account that you signed up with, which, I only use my ZAMCRO one unless I'm memeing or trying to ladder up, climb the ladder or something like that. But yeah, fantastic. And like I mentioned, we were drafted by the High Jump Kicks. I actually know Thick Bunny from the CPC, which is pretty cool. And I know a few of my teammates as well, such as Carson and Narth. So that's pretty cool. Speaking of my teammates, well, I'll just wait until we get into the overview of the teams. Let's dive more into the rules, I suppose, as we can look at the in-game rules. So before I exactly dive into the during game rules, as you can see on screen, I just want to go over some changes from last season to this season. Of course, I did not participate last season, but I did follow Gypsy King's coverage and followed the end game, pretty much the playoffs. So, um, things that had changed from last season to this season for extensions, much more strict rules on extensions. So, you only, like I said earlier, you only get 2 extensions throughout the entire season, and you should only use them if they're absolutely necessary. And definitely try harder for scheduling your games as quickly as possible. And then, like I mentioned earlier, the punishments, the 3 punishments for first, second, and third occurrences. So in-game changes for item and move bans. This is probably on screen, but this was in the Discord chat, and I thought it was, noteworthy because they had to make some changes mid-season last season because things weren't clarified. So, what things weren't clarified last season? Soldul and Swagger being allowed. Those are banned, so let's not forget that. And then for scheduling or schedule playoffs, things like that, 10 teams this time. I think that's more than last time. And still only operating on a 7-week schedule, meaning we won't play all teams, and obviously we won't play everybody in the tournament, I suppose. So last time, I'm not sure what the budget for drafts were. I think it was 8-man drafts, but the budget was a lot higher than 90 points. This time it decreased to 90 points, and should have, cleaner drafts, healthier drafts. And captains are no longer required to play each of their players at least once every 3 weeks, meaning captains are allowed to sit someone, any player, for the entire season. So if I don't play all season, I will try to cover all of the rest of the games. But fun fact, I will be playing in week 1, which is scheduled, but we'll get into that later. Anyways, back to the rules here. So sleep clause, specie clause, Oko clause, moody clause, evasion moves clause, endless battle clause, all that stuff. Pretty standard Smogon rules, pretty standard in all draft leagues. I've never found a draft league which is okay with allowing some of these things. And then we have the timer rule. So either player may choose to turn on the timer anytime. Once the timer is on, I don't think it can be turned off. And then all Sun and Moon games to be played on Draft Moon tiers, Draft League tier. All Oris games to be played in Gen 6 Ubers tier. Omni Boost and Z moves are banned. Obviously, those are insanely broken. Megas are not required to Mega Evolve first turn, which is fantastic. Makes some Pokemon more reliable. So we've got Swagger is banned, Soldul is banned, both in Oris, allowed in Sun and Moon, I suppose. And then Baton Pass is banned, period. Which is something players should consider when drafting. Anyways, that's going to be it for draft, and I suppose we can get into the team rosters now and see who drafted who and who's on whose team. Alright, so in Season 2, this is the first half of just what's on the dock, not necessarily, how people were drafted and things like that. Of course, it is how they are listed in the order that each team drafted them. And for instance, like King, L5, and Dougal, they drafted Marion first, and they drafted Dark last. So in terms of order, that is the correct order, but it didn't go in like a traditional order as you can see on screen. Anyways, so players got the bid. So had the Crusaders wanted Marion Baron for 20.5k, and Jerry Evolution wanted him for 21k. Jerry Evolution would have picked him up, unless the Crusaders then bid even higher, such as 22k. However, so King Dougal, King L5 and Dougal, they have drafted Marion Baron, Count Riario, Dra 15, DL commonly, Hydra, Jack, and Dark. I don't know most of these players. I'm not exactly sure which Jack this is. Maybe Jack O, who is a pretty solid player. Commonly, I don't actually know him, but think he's a good player. I've actually played Draw 15, and I've seen Marin Varen play quite a bit, and I've played King L5, and Dougal maybe, all of which are fantastic battlers. So yeah, pretty solid squad. I think King L5, Marin Varen, probably play every week, unless there's restrictions against that. But I went over the rules with you guys just now. Did not see any restrictions. Draw 15 for 28.5k is insanely high. Like I said, I've played the guy. I'm not sure if he's worth 28.5k. Like I said, he's a fantastic battler, but going for almost 30k is insane, in my opinion. So next up, we've got Jerry Evolution, captain and co-captained by Hiker Toad and Jake, who picked up Bronson for 8k in round 1, which was pretty cool, pretty cheap, great value pick there. They've also got Zazo for almost 37k, which was a fantastic pick. Again, spending a lot on a player. This guy's really good though, so I can understand that. And I think Rospool went for a reasonable amount, 13k, but could have went higher. Like if Draw 15 is going for 28.5k, I think Rospool could go for 28.5k. But I suppose some players conserve, or captains, co-captains conserve their budget a little bit more, so they can spend more on other players, which makes sense because they've got Zazo, Rospool, and Wombo, three really solid players. Really solid players. LL, I don't know. Jarrett, I don't know. Ice and Troy, I don't know, unless they're specific Ice and Troys, in which I may know them. Otherwise, I don't know. So pretty solid squad overall. 5 really big titans in my opinion. Hiker Toad, Jake, Zazo, Rospool, and Wombo. And Bronson, when he's on his game, he plays fantastically as well. So that's a really solid squad. Looking forward to seeing them in action. So next up we have Zero Foxgiven. It's a pun and a meme. Anyways, Genius X and K Crick, or Crick, I'm not sure. So the first Jack isn't Jacko because Jacko's here for almost 35k. And yeah, Genius X and Jacko and Mayo and Gregulator. I know all of them, fantastic players. I don't know Damos W. I don't know Metal Frider or Ace Trainer Josh, High Jump Sean, or Word Life. But this Damos W guy went for 20.5k, which is a lot. And Metal Frider actually went higher than Regulator, and Ace Trainer Josh went for 14k. So that's quite a bit of points to throw out there. And had 3k remaining. So pretty cool. They got a sick logo too. You can't see it on screen, but if we play them throughout the regular season, the 7-week span, so we have a pretty high chance to play them. Well, you'll see that logo on screen, and it's nasty. It's really nice. So next up, we have the High Jump Kicks. So you can see their logo in the bottom right-hand corner. I am a part of the squad. As you can see, I was drafted near the bottom for 5k, which is, I think I mentioned in the rule section that was the minimum that you could be drafted for. So I went for the minimum expense, but in my defense, these teams didn't know that I was draftable until it was too late. I'd say a fair price. I could at least went for 10k. And I think when I'm on my game, I could play for 20 plus k. So 5k is a nice value there. Same for North. North and Carson both got really great value picks out of them two players. North, when he's on his game, is really solid. Carson, when he's on his game, is really solid as well. Team captains, Jay Carson, co-captain Thick Bunny. I know Thick Bunny from the CPC. I know John W as well. 53k is a lot, and probably not worth that much. But I can understand how he went for 53k. If a couple teams were bidding on him, like trying to get him and trying to outbid each other. and got up to 53 points. I don't think 53.5K is your first bid on John W. Even though he is a fantastic player, probably the most noteworthy out of our team. I don't know Shuckle King or TJ or Ben. Actually, Ben is Shiny Sableye, so I do know Ben. He's a pretty solid battler as well. Jiggles, I don't know, but went for 5K, so easy value there. And we still have 4.5K remaining, where we're almost in position to draft another 5K player, which is pretty cool. Anyways, next up we've got, I think this is going to be the last squad for this slide, I suppose, the Baguette gang, Yorkin and Jebel 3C. I don't know Jebel C3 or 3C. I do know Yorkin though, pretty solid player. I think this is Trev, went for 32K, very solid player as well. Don't know if he plays as much as he used to. And then literally the rest of the squad outside of Same, which I don't believe Same is actually, I think it's supposed to have an asterisk on the E and pronounced different or something like that. But he's a solid player too. I've met Same and Yorkin in the Draft League World Series and Draft League World Cup that I had played in. So yeah, they're pretty solid players, but I literally don't know the rest outside of Trev. But yeah, it's going to be it for these first 5 squads, and we can jump into the second 5. Alright, so these last 5 squads were the last 5 squads period. Not necessarily the last to finish their team or anything like that, as you can see Gypsy King on the second squad there. Probably one of the quicker players to be drafted. Anyways, we got the V Creators, the Crit City, the Trick of Eye, the Talk to Specs, and the Rise of Phoenix here. Money Guy and Blue, captain and team captain or co-captain, the V Creators. They drafted a pretty solid squad. I know Money Guy and Jolt, Ace of Games, and Moxie, very, very good players. Don't know Blue, but he's the co-captain, so he's probably at least decent. King Sky is a pretty good player, from what I hear. Haven't actually watched him play. Went for 10.5K, so pretty decent amount there. These 3 before Scrappy, I don't know, but I do know Scrappy, and I feel like these were all pretty good value picks, maybe outside of Virgie, who I don't know, like I said. It could be great value for 12.5K, it could be undervalued, could be overpriced, I'm not sure. Panther and Jacob, as always, team captain and co-captain, the Crit City, drafted Gypsy King for 60 fucking K. Are you kidding me? But he's worth every penny, so not a big deal. Pesky, I don't know. VM Nunes, I do know. He's an okay battler. Went for 12.5K though, so maybe has some standout or show out performances that I haven't, witnessed yet. They've got Ricardo for 9.5K, which is a steal, I believe. Mustang, I don't know Mustang, but 5K, like I said, that's fair. Silver Smasher, I do know 5K is minimal, but if no one else bid it on him, it's fair. However, I could see him up to 10K as well. Orozco, 87, I don't know Steven or Junior either, so that's pretty much it on that squad. Jacob, fantastic battler. Jacob's hit or miss. Trick of Eye looks pretty powerful, so they've got IA and LeJon Flames as captain and co-captain. That's fire right there in itself. Pokeaim and Illusion as their first 2 picks for 60K together. Well, that's great in my opinion. They've also got Aaron, Halu, a couple good battlers there as well. I don't know Low QP, don't know him, but 16K has to be valuable in some sort of way. Ray, BK, and Clutch sometimes, I don't know them either, but they went for pretty cheap, so not too big of an issue there. Very cool squad, and probably the sickest logo I've ever seen. Probably just personal preference though. Again, potentially see that on screen later in the season or something like that. So we've got Toxic Specs here, Specs Star and Specs King, the Specs boys. they're decent battlers. I don't follow them a lot, but I've seen a lot of their replays from other leagues and things like that. And iPro for 20k, Vesuvius for 20k. That's pretty fair right there. Immortal Men's for 11k. He's hit or miss. That could be fair, or it could be overpriced. Turkey's a good player. Verd, good player. Blitz, fantastic player. I'm not sure who Will is. Will the most. AJ and Tristan, not sure who those guys are, but very, very powerful squad. If the captain and team captain perform, then I think the squad can go a long way. Fun fact, they will face us in week 1, the high jump kicks versus the Toxic Specs, so looking forward to that. Last team, we've got the Rising Phoenix with Sablo and Lapis as captain and team co-captain. Oin for 23k, very fair. I heard he's a really good battler, and he's a show out in Oris from what I know. Mio, good player. Youngster Bill, good player. XRN, I think he's hit or miss, but he went for 24.5k, so he better hit. And then I don't think I know the rest of these guys outside of Big Daddy Dave and Seansters, who I know from these APA Evolution. We recently played them in the APA. I didn't play Sean, but played Dave, and he's a good player. Not sure about Sean, however, he did sport the 2nd overall position in the APA Evolution. And has a 6 squad, so be interesting to see what all of these teams come up with for their drafts and things like that. So, last but not least, I believe we can get into, I guess, some just draft Premier League shenanigans or randomness. Alright, so yeah, that's the draft. Like I said, Gypsy went for 60k. Speaking of that, let's get into the top 10 most expensive players. The DPL thought, some well-known names thought it were like players like John W posted it in the player auction. Mayo posted it in the captain info. So obviously worth talking about, I suppose. Top 10 players in terms of price. So number 1, Gypsy King. He went for 60k to the Crit City, as you can see on screen. I mentioned it in the earlier parts of the draft when I was going over the squads in terms of teams, that he was worth every penny. I stand by that. Next up, we have John W, who went for 53.5k, and he's on my team, so that's fantastic. Hopefully, he puts up the performance for his price. Next up was pretty close at 3rd and 4th, and even 5th. 3rd, 4th, and 5th were really, really close. We have Pokey-Aim at 37k, Zazo at 36.5k, and Jack-O at 34.5k. Very, very high prices, but solid for the players. Not sure if Jack is same as a Zazo or a Gypsy, but still a fantastic player. Again, for Pokey-Aim, fantastic. His knowledge of Pokemon overall is just enough to help. He's got good players surrounding him. He's got a solid draft as well, which I'm not going to get into in this video. But yeah, fantastic. And I think at 6th place we had Trev going for 32k. We had Jolt at 7th going for 31k. Dra 15 going for 28.5k, and we know him as well. Know Jolt and Trev, all fantastic players. Moxie went for 26k, placing him at 9th. XRN went for 24.5k, placing him at 10th, and that is the top 10 most expensive players in the draft Premier League. So that's pretty cool. That's gonna be it though. I'm not gonna talk too much about this. Video's almost a little over 20 minutes already, and we're just pretty much doing an intro or an explanation of what this actually is and what's going to be coming to the channel. So hope you guys enjoy, hope you guys follow the content. Like I said, I'm going to definitely cover my games, cover my team's games, and always going to, if I'm around when there's, you know, two high-profile names going at it, say Pokeyame was facing Gypsy King, then I would love to catch that live and bring that to the channel for some DPL content as well. But that's going to be it. So let me know what you guys think. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.